I honestly wrote this book because it's the book that I really needed when I was growing up. So, like my main character, Makeda, I am also a transracial adoptee. I was adopted when I was a baby into a white family, and I grew up in a multiracial family. So some of my siblings are also transracial adoptees, and then I have a sibling who's the biological child of my parents. And for us growing up in our house, this was our family, this was the norm, this is who we were, how we operated as a family. But when our family stepped outside into the world, we often got questions and turned heads and puzzled looks as people tried to figure out who belonged to who. And I think that those experiences have shaped me into the person that I am today for sure, but I also remember as a child those experiences being really silencing and being really hard as I navigated racism and figured out that the world treated me differently than some of my other family members. And I was constantly looking for stories about Black girls like me, about girls who were adopted into families that didn't look like them, and I didn't find those stories. And I found lots of other books and stories that I was able to relate to and find comfort in, but I never really was able to find a book that mirrored my experience as a transracial adoptee. So For Black Girls Like Me is in many ways my love letter to adoptees, and I do hope that young adoptees find some validation and thread in my story that maybe in some small way relates to their experiences. But this book is also a book that has so much more, that has a lot of universal themes in it too. It's a book about the messiness of growing up, about finding your voice and figuring out who you are when you're not really sure where you came from in the first place. And my hope is that it will spark conversation about identity, about belonging, about race, about home, about resilience between teachers and students, between families, siblings, friends, and anyone who really needs this story. Because I think that, again, at its core for Black Girls Like Me is a story about a girl searching for her voice, a story about a multiracial American family trying to love one another despite difference, and a story about resilience and the messiness of growing up